Hello, another dark episode. Well, semi-dark. Once the light goes out, the timer light in the corner there goes out, it'll be quite dark. There we go. Yeah, welcome to the dark episode. Today's topic. Um, I was watching Steve Donahue react to. I'm reacting to Steve Donahue's reacting to. He was talking about a kind of bro dude financial guy who was talking about books and how to read a book a week, or I read a book a week, and how did that change me? And it turns out by the end of the video, because immediately go off and watch that video, that the bro dude, who actually had some fairly sensible advice, um, was also somebody who didn't, maybe said like, well, actually probably read maybe two books in a month, which is just like, okay, so you sort of lied with your title. Um, but you do it quite cheerfully, I guess, and we're supposed to kind of just skate over that. With some fairly good advice of set some time aside, try and focus on your reading. Um, Now, Steve, I think, took issue with a couple of things. One of the ones was audiobooks, that he felt that audiobooks was a form of distracted reading, that you're doing something else when you're listening to an audiobook. By definition, you're not just sitting there listening to the audiobook and not doing anything else. Therefore, it's a form of distracted reading, which I think I disagree with. And I think the reason I disagree with that is because I've got different things. I have different things that I listen to in different situations. If I'm in a situation like I'm out grocery shopping and I'm having to kind of think and do a lot of stuff where I have to like actually use my concentration, I will listen to podcasts where it's more of a conversations that people are having, and it's not a continuous story. So it's not something I have to focus on. I can miss bits, and it's not the end of the world. It's kind of a conversation. It's got that back and forth. Um, so I, I I won't listen to a book in a situation like that. I listen to books when I'm in a situation where I am doing something that is truly pretty mindless. I'm commuting to work. I'm mowing the lawn. I'm I'm doing the dishes. I'm doing something where I'm not having to kind of use my that part of my brain. And I know, yes, I am, I guess in the worst sense of the word, yes, I am multitasking. But I think the true test for me on that is that these are books that I then talk about, I think about, I ponder over. Um, and I think if I was doing it in a distracted way, if I was truly distracted, I wouldn't be able to piece the bits together, and I would just it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And I know when I'm in a situation where it's like, oh, I can't be listening to a novel right now, because suddenly I do lose track. So there's a signal difference in how my concentration is in those situations. And I do think that it's harder for like a review doing reviews to actually like have quotes or stuff like that, because I can flip back in books, I can tab stuff out, to kind of pull quotes out. I can't do that level of um, close textual analysis, or talk about a book. Um, but to be honest, there's those that if it's textual analysis, then yeah, maybe that is another level of reading that I wouldn't do. I have to say, yeah, if a book is super dense with language, um, it's probably not a very good audiobook. Those are audiobooks that are more about story and character than they are about language. I'm not actually that heavy of a language guy. It's interesting that a book like Little Big, um, I think is one of those books that I think the only reason I got through it was that it was an audiobook. I was able to let it wash over me and not have to feel like I had to take in every single detail. Now, maybe that puts me in a bad place to say if I was a paid reviewer of this book. But you know, in the review, my reaction to the book that I'm going to post online publicly. Eventually, we'll get around to. Um, I do admit I listened to the audiobook, and this is why, and that it helped me. So, I mean, this is a continual discussion that we have online. That's I'm not going to change anyone else's point of view. I mean, there may be plenty of people who just simply can't do that, who can't follow the book properly that way, which is totally makes sense. I've been doing this a long time. I'm very used to it. Um, you know, and if that isn't reading for them, that's not reading for them. It's reading for me, and that's what it is. So yeah, that's my little discourse on what's really the most beaten hobby horse on the interwebs, on booktube, on just like audiobooks. Is it actually reading? I guess I come down on it's reading for me. If it's not reading for you, that's fine. I don't care if I don't care, and you probably don't care about this then. All right, those are my couple of cents going forward as you listen to me in a strictly audio capacity in this dark episode. Good night.